This is Marisa Anglade and
Ralph Heaven Schiller Anglade.
And we are
God's Power Couple.
We're here to discuss divorce. 5 reasons why people get divorced. There should be much more added to that list, but we selected just 5 to talk about and to briefly discuss how they play a huge role in divorce. Ralph?
I want to go through some numbers with you guys, give you some statistics. It says here 50% of marriages end up in divorce.
Wow.
And there's 8 billion people in the world, and only 2 billion people claim to be Christians. So roughly maybe 25% of that 2 billion are truly living according to God's will. You know, those are reading their Bible, going to church every week. So you can kind of get an idea why divorce is so high, because the majority of the people that's getting married, they're not Christians. So when they get in a little fight, I want to get a divorce, I'm out of here. So that plays a lot in why divorces are so high.
Okay, so you have researched a list of why people got divorced.
Yes.
Why people get divorced.
Yes.
So what is the first one you want to begin with?
We started with number 5, and it says here, high expectations of spouse.
Okay. Number 5, expectations. Expectations, wow. I was told not to have any by my counselor, and I'm like, how? But I understand when we have unmet expectations, we get frustrated, irritated, mad, angry, discouraged. And when that goes on for too long, we get to a place of resentment and even divorce. So I was told not to have any expectations. Did that happen? No. I didn't listen. I still came with expectations. You can have these expectations. These are what the person should do. And when they were not met, when my husband did not meet my expectations, boy, did it cause some friction in our discussions and arguing. So it's prayer.
Next.
Prayer. I just want to say pray, because you want to have expectations. You think you should, but then you don't, because when the person doesn't meet them, it does get you in a place of not being happy with your spouse.
All right. Number 4, lack of trust.
Lack of trust.
Got 2 more minutes.
Oh, goodness. Lack of trust. When you can't trust your spouse, you won't have joint bank accounts with them. You won't share certain information. You won't trust their judgment. You'll be on edge. You won't be able to be even at peace in that home if you can't trust your spouse.
Right.
So it is essential, especially if you're not married yet. Please marry somebody that you can trust and feel safe with.
Amen.
When we don't trust our spouse, it's hard to surrender to our whole heart to them. And of course, that would cause a divorce.
All right. Uncontrolled spending, finances.
Okay. Gosh, we only got a few minutes. Uncontrolled. Okay, I'm not a spender. I'm going to relate it to me. I'm not a spender, but we have a budget and not a lot of leeway to just spend without, no control. That can cause a huge divorce, because you have the person feeling a little resentment towards you where there's a plan, a financial plan, or a financial strain, and that spouse is continually spending without consideration. That spouse, even though that spouse don't say anything, and most will say something, hear them out. I knew someone that got a divorce. The husband divorced her eventually, because a huge part of that had to do with the spending and not being considerate. So the person feel like, look, you don't trust me, you don't love me, because you keep doing the very thing that's hurting me in our marriage, and that's not being mindful.
All right. Number 2, communication breakdown.
Oh my goodness. When I got engaged, one friend, I'm not going to say her name, one friend messaged me on Facebook, via Facebook, and said to me, get ready for the misunderstanding. And she could not be so far from the truth.
Misunderstanding and confusion.
Yes.
Right.
And that definitely, wow. Like, there is 2 different languages going on. He speaks Greek and I speak Hebrew. I mean, like, really? Like, we speak in the same language, and why is it coming out two different ways, or 2 different understandings or perspectives? So Yes, communication is so crucial. One person has to listen while the other person is speaking, and you're not listening to give an answer. You listen to say, okay, what are you saying? Like, why do you feel this way? And then after you hear that, let the person explain, because they're trying to tell you something, not attack you. So communication is crucial. Hear the person out without being on the defense, ready to protect and attack back, but just listen, because this person is talking to you to share something that they're feeling, and they just want you to help solve it. So communication is a key, because you want somebody to hear you and you want somebody to share with you. So I mean, it's crucial. And yeah.
All right, so the number one reason, according to God's power couple, why divorce is so high is because selfishness.
Oh,
selfishness.
Selfishness is the number one reason why people get divorced, because we both want our own way.
Yes.
You know, I want to travel. My husband probably want, like, you know, to keep things simple and stay in one place and just go have dinner, and that's, you know, the best thing since sliced bread. And so there's going to be, you know, arguments and disagreement, because, you know, one person want to go to sports game, and one person would just want to go to a play, and y'all want two different things. And it got to be a place of compromising and balance, you know, and I think it's still something that we're working on. But selfishness, what I want, you know, and then the more I want, you know, magnifies, and the more what he wants magnifies in his part, then you got two people that I their way out of the marriage. So there got to be a place of compromising, where that's where communication plays a huge role, and balance it out, and understanding that my spouse likes this. How can we meet them halfway where we are, and vice versa?
So we're not only going to give you the number one reason why, but we're going to give you the reason on how to overcome selfishness. How do we do that, my love?
Lord, lots of prayer.
Right.
Reading everything that God asks us to do
But what's the R? What's the R word?
I don't know.
Our relationship.
Yeah,
with
our
Christ.
relationship. But I want to say that the relationship comes by studying our word, and it's not cliche. The understanding that what God asks us, or our requirement to make it to heaven, is the same requirements needed for our marriage. You know, love your neighbor, you know, be gentle, be patient, be kind, everything long suffering. Everything that's required to have the character of God. The character of God is what's needed to work and to have a long-lasting, joyful, peaceful marriage. And I'm not saying it comes overnight, but it's the work toward salvation is work of a lifetime, and working towards a marriage is a work of a lifetime, you know, till death do you part. So you can only get to that point with God's help, and studying and praying and crying out to God if you have to, and trusting God to do those things. But when we learn how to die to self, then everything else will fall apart. But selfishness is the number one reason for divorce, we believe.
Yes, and we firmly believe that if you better your relationship with Christ, you better your relationship with your spouse. Because he will reveal to you the things that you need to learn, and how to deal with issues, and how to go about loving your wife. Because our ways are not his ways, our thoughts are not his thoughts. So we read the Bible, we study it to see how we need to treat the marriage accordingly. So we thank you for your time. This is Ralph Heaven-Schiller Anglade and
Maricia Anglade.
And we are
already, right? And we are
God's Power Couple. Until next time.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Yeah.